Good afternoon and welcome to our special meeting of the Randolph County Board of Commissioners. We are here tonight for the first public rollout of the county budget. It's been in process for a while, and we're glad to have several of our department heads here tonight, our two Ashburn City Schools and RCC, and the manager. This is the manager's budget, and we'll let him take it over, and he and will make the presentations tonight. So welcome again. Thank you for coming.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Appreciate everybody being here today. It's an honor and a privilege to be in a position to present the fiscal year 26 proposed budget for Randolph County. Last year, I've been here just about 1 year. My first meeting on your dais last year with you all was to present a nearly $200 million budget that I had nothing to do with preparing. I feel like we've done very well with it this year. Last year was a difficult year, if you recall. We had, at the last minute, learned about the Medicaid hold harmless funding that was going to be reduced, and that reduction in revenue to the tune of ultimately $3.1 or so million was a real hamper on what was intended to be a much different budget than it ultimately turned out to be. But the commissioners, the staff, you all have worked hard to position yourselves. You were able to withstand that and put forth a budget without compromising services or the level of service being provided. And kudos should be given a round of applause, honestly, to get us to that point. You don't have to look very far every single day in the news to hear from folks in local government and with our school systems. There's a lot of financial problems and issues going on that they're facing daily. You all have done a really good job to position yourself to be able to withstand the issues that we've encountered over the last year or two. Unfortunately, that Medicaid hold harmless loss last year was not a one-time blip. You'll see here shortly in the presentation of the budget that is an annual thing that we are going to be looking at, probably a growing thing each year. And so we're in a very fortunate position to try to move forward and put forth a budget that can carry us forward and continue doing the things we need to do and improve the county. I want to give a lot of attention and thanks to our departments who are careful stewards of the public purse. The requests that they bring are not outrageous or outlandish, that they serve a purpose. And then they get into the hands of our finance staff who synthesize it into a not so small but thorough budget document that outlines what we're going to do, why we're going to do, and how we're going to do. And I think that I'm going to reverse the order a little bit, and at the front, thank you all for how you have positioned the organization to move forward, and thank Will Massey and his team. Assistant County Manager and Finance Officer Will Massey has positioned you appropriately to be able to withstand the challenges and put us in a situation where we can benefit greatly as the opportunities come in the future years. I'm going to let Mr. Massey present the budget here in just a moment and go through some of the fine details and kind of overarching themes, but we are here at your pleasure. If there's something you want to talk about, is there issues over the course of the adoption of this budget that you would like to try to find a way to fit in, we are here to listen to you and try to make it work. I appreciate everybody being here this evening, and I will hand it over to Assistant County Manager Will Massey.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. We'll start off with the budget schedule. Tonight, you'll hear the first presentation for the county budget, and we usually include the presentations from the two school systems and the community college. Dr. Gainey is not able to be with us tonight, so he will present his budget request at the regular June 2nd meeting next week, as well as Trillion. Then Thursday, June 5th, you'll hear from county departments. June 9th, you'll hear from community agencies, fire departments, and we'll hold a public hearing on the budget. And then on June the 16th, we will reconvene for final adoption, setting of fees, and the usual closeout budget amendments. So as the manager mentioned, last year was a challenge primarily because of the Medicaid hold harmless. And what decision we made at the time was, let's just try to get through the year. We were hopeful that General Assembly might help us out with that shortfall. That did not happen. So we kicked the can down the road to another year, which is now. So that still has an impact on our budget and still limits what we were able to do. So last year, what we decided to patch that hole was using the gains we had with Toyota. The timing was pretty good where that money started to come in. Landfill host fees was 1.3, and we made a special transfer of 816 when we closed out a project. For fiscal year 26, again, we're redirecting some of our current recurring financial resources that we have not previously devoted to the general fund. So we are not proposing in this budget a property tax increase, but we need to be making some decisions on how to fix that loss of Medicaid hold harmless money. Going into the future, we need to stabilize that. So for fiscal year 26, we were seeing normal property tax growth outside of the increase in the Toyota battery development. That's going to continue to go up. We've had modest sales tax growth. It had been growing pretty rapidly, but it's leveling off. And then we have that Medicaid hold harmless hole. So the manager's proposed budget is balanced at 202,056,073. So we've passed 200 million budget level. Includes full property tax valuation, and it's based on the consistent, with the current year, 50 cents per $100 of value. So from this chart, the first column is the total expenditures by category. Certain departments have grants, they have user fees, they have licenses, that type of thing. So when you take that out, close to 160 million of other resources it takes to balance the budget. And where does that come from? Primarily from ad valorem property taxes, local option sales tax. We'll look at a chart here in a second. The sales and services includes the host fees, landfill host fees, and then appropriation of fund balance to make up that 159 that's necessary to balance the budget. So as a pie chart, this is on the revenue side. The blue is the property tax. The red is our local option sales tax. So between those two revenue sources, that is 75% of our total revenue budget. In total, on the expenditure side, public safety is about 30%. Education is 21%. And then human services is 19%. So general county revenues, how are they spent? County services, it's about 56%. Education's about 26%. So those are your two primaries of how the general county revenues are used, the property taxes and sales tax. So our property tax base is a combination of real estate values and personal property. Real estate's revalued every 4 years. We're in the middle of that cycle. Personal property is things like business equipment, motor vehicles, utility infrastructure, railroads and gas lines, and then things like farm equipment. So the property tax base has grown around 2.5% every year. And we had the reval in 2023-24, which is about 30%. Then in 24-25, we started to see the Toyota effect. And for 25-26, it's a 10.2% overall increase in the property tax base. And we'll break that down in just a minute. So the valuation in total of the 20.1 of that, the Toyota battery is 2.474. So the base valuation for everything else that we normally have had in the county is 17.6. Of the assessment for Toyota, you know, that'll generate about $12 million of property tax, but we owe incentives of about 8.6 out of that as part of the performance-based incentive agreement that we signed. So countywide, the comparison between 25 and 26, it's about 2.6% growth, so it's about normal. And then Toyota's just going to be a wild percentage going forward. But that's where the 10.2 comes up at. So I usually show this chart. It's just a comparison from prior years between real property, personal property. This is in the budget document. You can see how some of the other categories compared, but Toyota is in those numbers. Also in the budget book is principal taxpayers, and we don't have the upcoming year, so this is still a 24-25 list, but this is the first year that Toyota became #1 in the county. Energizer moved up a little bit, I think, above Technomark, because they brought a lot more personal property in. So continuing with revenues, our local option sales taxes. Our collections were about 6.7 above last year, but you know, compared to the budget that we set, we're only about 1% above. We're starting to see, the past couple of months especially, that revenue start to level off, and it's actually declined pretty significantly compared to what we expected for those past 2 months. So we had a lot of growth, I believe, from the mega site from various reasons, some other things going on, but as a comparison to the prior year, it's not going to continue to go up by that amount. So we've kind of leveled off. The League of Municipalities in the General Assembly has around a 2.4, 2.7% increase. When we did projections back in March, we tried to finish out the year at 5% and a 2.5% next year. 5% is probably going to be a little bit too strong to finish this year out, but hopefully we'll do better than 2.5% next year. So Medicaid hold harmless. We've mentioned it several times. The fiscal year 23 budget, or actual that we received, was about $5 million. In 24, we were notified that it was not going to be that, so we lost that $3 million. We did the 25 budget based on a projection that we would get maybe 1.6. In March of this year, the projection was 1.3, so we will not make that 1.6. So what do you put in for next year? We put $1 million. We need to get ourselves off of that revenue source because it's not stable. It's not the kind of thing you want to build a budget on because it's eroding on us. All right? So hopefully the year after, maybe we take that $1 million off and not rely upon it and just see what we get. This is the graph. The top line is the revenue, and the bottom line is the expenses from the Medicaid, and you see how it's closed up, and it continues to match up closer. So I don't think that it's going to be a stable revenue source. So we're not talking about just losing the $3 million. We're talking about losing the whole $5 million. Investment earnings is another area where you have to watch carefully. The Federal Reserve raised rates over the past couple of years to try to fight inflation. Now the expectation is they're going to continue to lower those. This is a dot chart from the Federal Reserve governors. So they anticipate over the next couple of years dropping rates. So we don't want to have a budget based on interest income that we're not going to get. We're appropriating fund balance for several reasons. We have 3.3 for capital outlay. The sheriff has restricted law enforcement funds of $50,000, and the health department has some restricted funds that have to be used for particular purposes. That's 323. So this budget has $3.7 million of appropriation of fund balance, which is using existing reserves and not future revenues. So our fiscal year 26 challenges: staff retention. We'll talk about that some. We still have hiring challenges. There's a lot of competition for qualified people. We still have some inflation. Our supply costs continue to go up. Capital costs go up. The economy is slowing. We have to focus on the services we provide and make sure that they're sustainable. In this current year budget, we also have the agricultural center that we are opening up, and that has some operating costs that we have to build in as well. And this also is the first year, I think, that we are using county funds for the Community Navigator program. So the proposed budget has a 3% labor market and cost of living adjustment. That's $2,160,000. We also heard a request from the Sheriff's Office that they had trouble retaining staff based on the marketplace, and we've added an additional 2% to retain experienced staff. This is across the board for all current Sheriff's Office employees. We also have some other retention initiatives for other across the county that we would like to implement as well. Recognizing these existing employees that have some years of service, these are the folks that are have the institutional knowledge. These are the folks that have the ability to pick up the slack when you have turnover. This is the staff that has to retrain all the new employees and see them leave and continue to retrain. So we wanted to make sure that they felt appreciated. So we have certain initiatives in the budget for that. There was 20 new positions requested, 15 full-time and 5 part-time. The proposed budget has 7 new full-time positions. 3 of those have to do with the agricultural center. There's also a number of position reclassifications. That's existing positions that moved up a grade or went from full-time to part-time. I mean, from part-time to full-time. So we included those in the budget. As I mentioned, capital outlay, most of the vehicles that we have are getting older and older. The repairs are getting more expensive. If you don't keep up with those, then you create a bubble. So this is a little bit higher than usual, but we're funding these out of the fund balance. Debt service, you can see the breakdown we have. We will pay out $16 million in this upcoming year for county schools, city schools, the hospital, county buildings, and a little bit for water projects. Right now, it's a relatively small part of our percentage, 8% or whatever it was. We're also supportive of education. We've added $1.4 million to the current expense for both public school systems and $500,000 for Randolph Community College for their current expense as well. And that's how it breaks down between for the 1.9. $1,075,620 for the county schools, Ashburn City Schools is $324, and Randolph Community College is $500. Now, that doesn't reach what they had requested, but I think we made a pretty good effort to get as close as we could. The current expense and current capital for the public school systems have to be adjusted based on average daily membership. There's a certification that comes through the Department of Public Instruction. That came in very late this year. We didn't really have a chance to evaluate that and incorporate that, but it's another 1.1% decline in student enrollment in the county. But it's pretty common to see some of that percentage go from the county schools to the city schools. And in fact, this year it was a little bit stronger than usual. So the proposed increase is that 1.4 and the 500,000, but the ADM shift was 181,849. 181,849. And when you carry the ADM shift to the current capital, it's about 15,658. We've been asked to provide facility funding for renovations. Ashford City Schools $450 and Randolph County Schools has been $950. They asked for an increase. We were not able to provide that in the proposed budget. Randolph Community College has a $2.363 million transfer for their phase one deferred maintenance. When we met with them, they had 3 phases, I believe, in repairs and maintenance, deferred maintenance, and we're funding phase 1 of that. So if you add up the current expense, the current capital, the construction capital, and communities and schools, that's the 21% of our total budget. If you add those annual appropriations and the debt service on school construction and the transfer to the capital projects, it's $55 million, and that's about 27% of our total budget. We also have special tax district funds. There are 5 fire districts asking for rate increases this year. You have 2 school district funds. I believe those have been requested for the same level. I haven't heard anything different. The budget ordinance will include many other special revenue funds. The emergency telephone system fund, the 911 operations, currently does not have any revenue from the state budgeted, but we received something this week saying that there is going to be some funding for that. So we'll be amending that budget at some point. So that was a good sign. So capital improvement plan, this board has approved purchasing land for Liberty Elementary and Roundman High School. If we anticipate any debt next spring, then it won't affect this current year budget. It'll affect 26-27. So the county budget is a financial plan. It sets priorities, and you always have to balance that need for the public services with our ability to pay. And while for some people they would say that the budget's not balanced, sometimes it really is. I guess my point for this year in this slide is, we want to make sure that the foundation is good if we add things later on that we don't become unbalanced. So again, here's our schedule. This is the first meeting. You'll have 2 more presentations at your Monday night meeting, and we'll move on from there. Does the board have any questions for tonight?
Questions?
Good job.
Thank you.
Not yet, but I'm sure they'll be there.
Yeah.
I'll be around. Thank you very much.
Okay. Ashford City Schools.
All right, so good evening, Chairman Fry, Commissioners. I guess I'm saying thrilled to be here. This is a great opportunity to stand before you, talk about our budget requests, talk about really no surprises from what we've shared with you from February and throughout the past. And I want to work diligently tonight and be a little bit quick in order to provide opportunity for any kind of questions. You've heard from from Zeb and Will, and they've framed everything really well tonight in terms of our challenges and needs really across this county and certainly throughout the city. I would say I took a few notes during Will's presentation, very similar to what has already been presented tonight. Asheboro City Schools is right in line. We have challenges with staffing, we have challenges with retention, we have challenges with recruiting high-quality staff, we have challenges with rising costs, and we have certainly challenges with inflation. So again, similar to what's happening around us, and the county manager did a great job, I think, also framing tonight. You know, when you take some time to look around just outside of our, not necessarily our city limits, but outside of our county limits, it doesn't take long to look and see some of the challenges and, dare I say, dysfunction that other places across North Carolina and certainly the country are experiencing. And I feel, on behalf of my team, to say I feel blessed that we have great partnerships, we have great relationships to talk about the emerging needs and challenges, but also talk about compelling solutions. So just a couple things this evening as we get kicked off. You know, very proud of our team. I have a few teammates with me this evening. I want to recognize them. Ms. Sandra Spivey-Ayers, she's our Chief Financial Officer. I think you know Sandra well. Mr. Anthony Woodyard, our Chief Communications Officer, who does quite a bit of work with innovation and digital enhancement and all kinds of things. She's not new to Asheboro City Schools. We're very proud of her and grateful, but she's new to a position. Ms. Gail Higgs is our new Chief Human Resources Officer, and very, very proud of her as well, and grateful for our team. So these are a couple folks who represent my staff and our team and help us to make great things happen for students each and every day. We are a district that seeks to be collaborative, democratic, precise, innovative, and really shoot for meaningful outcomes for each and every student. And we're a place that values opportunities that we want to provide for each and every student. And quite frankly, I feel compelled to tell you, we feel that you support that. On behalf of our school board, on behalf of our team, we feel that you as commissioners support that. So I would just tell you one more kind of like inspirational, motivational thing that we try to talk about here in Asheboro City Schools lately. We want to be a district that continues to find the value in saying yes, or we'll figure it out. We really try hard not to say no. We try hard not to say no. I know that's one of your favorite words, but we try hard. we try hard not to say no. Because when you say yes, you open up opportunities. When you say yes, or you say, hey, we might not be there yet. And again, we get it. We understand where we are financially, both as a county and certainly as a community. And we're believing that, as we say it all the time, our best days are ahead of us in Asheboro City Schools. We believe our best days are ahead of us, I believe, in Randolph County. And I think there's hope on the horizon, but we're just not quite there yet. So I want to just frame what I'm getting ready to talk about in a sense of we understand we are good teammates. We are going to continue to be great teammates. We put together a budget here. We've shared with specificity some of the unique challenges that we need, but we're great teammates, and we understand that I think we're very, very hopeful and excited about the future, but in order to have that meaningful future, we've got to have a strong foundation, and I think you did a great job laying that out tonight. So and to frame this furthermore, Sandra, what kind of my right-hand person, particularly when it comes to finance, she says to me often, you know, Dr. Woody, you can have anything you want, but you can't have everything. And I think the concept of that is prioritizing, right? It's looking at all the different needs and the wants and the challenges and the ways that we want to, again, provide opportunities. And we have to make priorities, and we have to really look hard at what is ahead of us for our students. There we go. So again, a lot of great things happening in Asheboro City Schools. I won't belabor the point. I could talk. You know this. It's one of my favorite parts of my job is to be the chief cheerleader for Asheboro City Schools. Very, very proud of the work that we're doing. We plan to graduate 300, right now 352, but it may be more like 365 a week from this Tuesday night at Lee J. Stone Stadium. We're seeing tremendous progress in our outcomes, whether it be reading or science, technology, math. We've had tremendous partnerships with some of our local businesses and agencies. We talked about the Ag Center. We've talked about Toyota. I could talk to you at length about scholarships and apprenticeships and things that we've been able to lift up and celebrate even in these last few weeks, hopeful opportunities for our students. So great things are happening. We are on the move. So from a budget standpoint, and I know you've heard Will's presentation, I'm going to lift up what we've asked for, but for a local current expense, to do a continuation budget, we're asking for, we are anticipating increases in our state salaries as well as an increase in benefit costs for retirement and health insurance. We're also experiencing increases in other insurance premiums as well as rising utility costs. So these changes will have an impact on our current expense budget with an estimated increase of $515,000. So we're certainly asking for that to support our continuation budget. From an expansion budget standpoint, additionally, we're asking, I say just, but we're asking for a 1% each increase in our local supplement. And that's really to, again, in terms of recruiting and retaining highly qualified staff in a very competitive market, we want to continue to move that forward. So that's $320,000. I will give you a little caveat, and I know you've paid attention to this. There's a lot of banter and discussion, some debate about the various proposals to the state budget from both the House and the Senate. I think they're looking at somewhere around a 2.5%, maybe a 3% increase for all state employees, and that would certainly help. But this is an area that we want to continue to lift up. Local current expense budget request, you see in front of our total request for the current expense appropriation is $8,177,158. This request includes the $515,000 for continuation costs and the $320,000 for expansion costs. So this request is a total of $835,000 higher than the appropriation that we received last year, or for this current year, excuse me. I want to say again on behalf of our school board, on behalf of our staff, we always appreciate the county commissioner's continued support of the supplemental tax rate, and we're simply asking that it remain the same for next year, which is 11.53 cents per $100. We do this every year, and we've shared this with you in February, and we've continued to share with you, but we try to be very diligent. I know Dr. Gainey does that as well with Randolph County Schools. But we try to lift up to you our capital improvement plan, certainly for the coming year, and then a 10-year plan. So I'll really quickly, I won't go line by line, you have it in front of you, but simply to demonstrate for you that we do have plans to continue to look into the 2025-26 year, and you can see a variety of issues there that we want to address. And this is just a way to say thank you for helping us to continue to maintain our great facilities. I don't need to talk to you about the age of our facilities and just the challenges associated with continuing to facilitate and to keep up with those things. But this particular slide reflects the improvement plans, the capital improvement plans for our next school year, as well as a list of projects that we've lifted up to you previously. From a capital outlay budget standpoint, in order to complete the projects listed on our capital improvement plan, we're requesting $1,182,175. This request includes a $100,000 increase over funding that you provided for the 2023-24 school year. And you can see, again, our 10-year or our stretch plan of kind of where we plan to go with continued needs and things that we have. This is just a snapshot, this slide of what our projections look like for next school year and 5 years beyond. We're always evaluating our facilities each year. You would recall last year at the beginning of the school year, literally a year and a half ago, we had an unexpected large repair at McCreary Elementary. And, unexpected things do happen just like they happen in our home, and we're always monitoring those things. So in terms of our request tonight and our lifting things up, we feel good, and we're strong teammates. We're going to work with whatever budget is laid out and given to us with the understanding that we are constantly looking and monitoring and continuing on with our facilities. And you just never know from time to time what things might come up. So some exciting news. Again, with your support, we were awarded a needs-based public school capital fund grant in the amount of $29,728,490 from state lottery funds. This grant required a match of 15% from Randolph County, which you have graciously given us. This renovation project will add ADA compliance and additional cafeteria spaces needed to support our students, as well as needed infrastructure, such as upgrades with our HVAC, electric and plumbing, Previously, we projected a total budget for the South Ashburn Middle School project to be around $36,824,695. At this time, the design work has been completed and the construction bids have been received. Construction work actually began in December 2024 over the Christmas break. Prep work has been going on. It's been continuous since December to get prepared for what we're calling the Summer Slammer, which will actually begin right as school gets out, a little after June 10th. This summer, the second floor will be renovated and the elevator will be installed. So as I mentioned, the slide in front of you, the bids have been received. We're within projections. In fact, the project budget is now a total of $35,720,423, and that includes $750,000 for furniture. So our team has worked very diligently with pencils and erasers and pencils again. This budget has decreased by $1.1 million due to no longer needing a lease of mobile units. So Baba Construction's worked hard to create phases for the project that will minimize the disruption to classroom infrastructure and instruction while eliminating the need for mobile units. So this is a huge win, we feel like, for our district, for our kids, and certainly from an expense standpoint. So working through the design-build concept with Baba Instruction, it's been very positive. We're pleased with the collaborative effort, and we are continuing to stay on track with the finalization of that project in August of 2027. So those are some of the things to lift up to you. Just want to again say thank you to County Manager Holden, Mr. Massey, really, Commissioners, thank you for everything. We say all the time our best days are ahead of us. I really believe that. We really believe that. We certainly believe we're in some best days right now, but we believe that, with a compelling future, anything is possible. And times are good. They're going to get better, I believe, in our community, and we're hopeful for that time. And maybe at that time we come having some really, really big asks, and we will continue the partnership to know that, again, not only have we been through some things, but the future's truly bright and excited. I have colleagues all across the state at superintendent level, throughout schools, and in many places they are consolidating and they're closing schools, and they're looking at really some, I would say, catastrophic and really hard things, and we are blessed that we're not in that position. At the same time, we want to stay innovative and we want to move forward to create the right kind of spaces, the best spaces for each and every student and family in Asheboro City Schools. So thank you so much for the time to get to stand before you. I'll certainly entertain questions at this time, and greatly appreciate the opportunity to be with you this evening.
Other questions? Any questions? I know we met with you at our two boards a while back.
Yes.
And thank you for keeping us updated on your numbers and bringing those same numbers back. So
Absolutely.
thank you for the consistency there.
Very good. Well, we appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Good. Thank you.
And I'll put in a plug, anybody that has time in their schedule, sign up to help Proctor next week.
We would greatly appreciate that, Ms. Havens. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Do you have a date for Elevator Day yet?
I do not, but we will get that to you because it's good. Do you have a date, Ms.? I don't think we have a date for the elevator installation yet. Yeah, it's going to be quite fantastic because they're dropping it with a crane into our space. It's going to be
Don't use the word drop. They're placing it.
Yeah, drop. Yeah. Thank you, sir. Yeah. Drop's probably not the right terminology. Yeah. Otherwise, I'll be coming back and tapping into some of Dr. Gainey's money probably for. So thank you very. But we'll definitely keep you abreast of all those things. Thank you so much.
All right, Dr. Shaw, welcome.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Each time Dr. Woody talks, I want to reach out and give him some money. I mean, he does such a great job, and especially showing the picture of those tiny little ones. You know, who can say no to that? Of course, except for Will. So I don't care what they say. We love him, and we enjoy working with Will big time. I really appreciate it. So it's an honor and pleasure to be here. Wanted to also try to outnumber you as far as number of board members. So we have our chair, vice chair. Please, for my board members to please stand and be recognized. So we got 4. Appreciate it. Thank you so much. I also have members of my cabinet. Dr. Richard Weldon is Executive Vice President and CFO. And of course, Ms. Linda Brown, that you know, our Chief Strategist. And the newest member that I wanted to introduce is Dr. Lisa Johnson, which is our Vice President for Learning and Workforce. A great addition. She hasn't been here for 30 days yet, right? Yeah, and she has already made great strides. So it's a pleasure and honor to be here with my team. We're going to make our presentation. First of all, thank you for meeting with us in March. This is a continuation. Hopefully there will not be too many surprises. We really appreciate it. I think one of Will's tricks is that he puts those little numbers over there that nobody can see. So, but I think it looked good from what we heard. It's we trust you, and we're very honored to be here. So with my presentation, it's we're going to somehow go through it as fast as we can, and I can. But please feel free to ask questions and interrupt at any time. And now, here it is. Sorry, I think our computer systems are not very compatible with yours. So it's, if you see some things a little bit out of place, I will take the blame for it as an ex-recovering CIO. So again, when you talk about what is the college all about? Is we want to stay relevant. We want to be focused on careers. That's the core mission of any community college. But also, we want to renew our commitment to you and to this community and our students. But why we're here is the whole idea is we want to somehow promote growth. And each time that individuals are growing, and how we do that is with board's mandates, which is focused on access, connections, and of course, experience for the students and employees and success. And so we say, okay, now what? So obviously the reason we're here, we need the adequate resources to provide the services that you expect us to do. And if we don't, if you ask Richard, he'll say that we need to reduce services, we need to close sooner and all that stuff. But I have a different approach for you. It's if we don't educate, research shows that education is extending people's lives. If we don't educate people, they're going to die sooner. So if for any other reasons they don't want to join, there is a lot of research that shows that people without education, for many years, people thought it has something to do with race, with this, with that, but the latest research shows that it has a direct relationship with the level of education. And people with no education die at almost 34% higher rate than educated people. So if for no other reason, if we want to bring down the death rate in Randolph County, if we want to somehow reduce the number of people that end up in our healthcare systems, then we need to educate them. Then I think last time when we met, the number of our enrollment was 8,900 or something like that. So as of today, we keep growing. So now we're at 9,661, which is a good sign for us. That means with your help, we have built it and they're coming. And I can't say enough about our nursing and our ratings that you look at it from nursing to truck driving. Everything we do, we try to do it with quality, and we want to make sure that our graduates are placed in somewhere that we can be proud of. And of course, it doesn't hurt to be ranked #1 community college in North Carolina, #2 in the nation. And That is because of the quality of education we provide and also with a lot of help from you. It goes with everything that we do and how we do it. We had our graduation, so this year we have given over 1,600, thank you, Zeb, for being there, over 1,600 credentials to over 1,100 individuals. As you know, each person that we graduate will have an impact on average on 3 more people in their families, which means just this year we have impacted the life of 4,400 people forever. Summer enrollment looking pretty healthy. At this point, we're looking at 21% increase, which these are the numbers that are going to go towards our yearly numbers for next year. But again, as people have realized that they want to be at school and they want to be being better. Obviously, it's each time that we produce a student is what is the impact to the county. This is old research, but it shows that we're making over $100 million impact on the county's economy. And this is with people that we produce, this is with business that we run, and obviously, what you invest is a good investment. So for every dollar that you invest in the college, the county is getting much more. And we have been going through a lot of audits, especially one that took almost a year from the state auditors. Clean, clean, clean. I mean, they can't say enough about how, and all those audit books. We just received the report, and it has been absolutely clean. We get audited. Probably we had at least 8 ones, and this one was the most comprehensive by the state. I don't need to name names, but a college not too far from here, they just got the reports that Richard was showing me, 2 pages of findings and millions of dollars not to accounted for. So again, kudos to my team for keeping track of everything we do and meeting with the auditors, and again, for them to leave with this kind of report. And the idea is that the college is here during the good times and the bad times. When people get fired, we're here for them. When people get hired, we're here to help them. When companies want to move here, we're at the table to provide the training for people that they want. Went to do a graduation with Toyota with the first set of FAME graduates, and probably again, if there were 40 graduates of that, we have trained over 1,000 Toyota employees, and met with the new president, which knows us, and we know him, and all going well. The whole idea is that we need to be prepared for what's to come at Randolph. And I wanted to say thank you again for the amount of dollars that you gave us last year, and wanted to report the AI2C Center. We have spent just a few $1,000s for now, but to hire the architect, it has been registered with the state of North Carolina, and we are now planning on what's going to happen with the help from our faculty staff. So that one is happening. The training center is supposed to be delivered. Thank you for your help, working us to get it directly instead of us going out for bid. So that's supposed to happen in July. The rest of the money is going to be used for the parking lot and expansion of the parking lot, because now our police officers and sheriff and others, they cannot really do all the maneuvering and whatever exercises that they do to take care of that. The R&R money, it was easy to spend with all the times and expenses that are happening and the campus aging. So, but if you come on campus, you see that there is a different feel to it. And we have spent all those monies, and we appreciate that it's going to be more to keep the campus up and running. The Liberty Center, we appreciate again your quick decision on purchase of the land. We spent another $50,000 to burn and use the building for a burning exercise by our fire departments of different fire departments around the county, to use as an exercise. That way people are better trained. And that one is still right there and waiting for your action. So Liberty is, we talked about it, this is a nice, beautiful building, but I just want you to rest assured that this is mostly glass, so we looked at the cost of it, and this mesh around it is for energy savings, but also, yes, it needs to give it a look that is worthy of Randolph County and what this county stands for. We have been meeting with all our legislators separately and sometimes together, thanks to my board chair, Mr. Lisk, and there is good indications that they will fund something. We don't know how those games and those actions are happening, but we have good indication that there will be at least some seed money to construction of the Liberty, but we also need your help. I understand everything that was presented. The county is facing challenges, just like the state is facing challenges. But I wanted to make sure that you remember that your investment in Liberty is right there and is getting good vibes from companies and corporations, and hopefully it will be in your near future plans.
Dr. Shaw, have y'all made a specific request of the General Assembly, our representatives there or anything?
They have. There is now, at least in the House and Senate, there is line items.
I guess more specific relative to the 25 million.
No, sir, we have not asked for 25. The idea was that the state will cover 1/3, you will cover 1/3, and we will come up with the other third. That has been the idea, so we're looking at 8 million each. Could I go on? Is that all you needed? So all the information, everything you heard about inflation and the increased cost of living and everything, it applies to you, it applies to us. We're a part of this community. We're dealing with the exact same challenges as you are. I want you to remember that we have 52 employees that are somehow on your payroll through us. So when you consider a 3% COLA for your employees, when the state and others are considering about 2-3% increase, we don't want to, our employees that are somehow being funded through us by you, be laid out. So I want you to meet David, which the smile is always there day in, day out. He has been working with us for over 20 years. As a maintenance guy. He is on your payroll. Indirectly. You pay us, we pay him. So if we wanted to consider a 3% COLA for the employees that are on this part of the thing, is in the previous year, we ate that cost. I don't want them to be left out. If the state pays us a 3% COLA increase, they don't count them in. So that's going to be cost. And when you talk about different prices, last year we were short $387,000 on our utilities. We do everything we can to turn off the lights when we can and everything else. I just want you to know these are real dollars that impact our budget, and we need your help on. So if we wanted to just total it all up, Liberty is there at 25. We don't expect you to fund the whole thing, even though we don't say no. If you decided if you felt like it, or help us find it. But phase one of it will be 25, and we were hoping that you can somehow plan on helping us with $8 million for it. The training and wastewater sewer, you heard about it. Unfortunately, many years ago, when the prices were much lower and that building was built and that center established, we could have taken care of it for much less than that. But for now, we did go out. We got professional drawings and everything. That's cost at 1.4. We cannot expand any more classes or anything in that facility until we have water and sewer. That's $1.4 million, the current expenses and operations. You had the detailed list that we shared in March. And also understand that you are considering something for us on the current capital. So this is the list that you received in March, except for the COLA. That is kind of new that we wanted to bring to your attention. So I'm using Will's tricks by putting this in this tiny little font, but I don't expect you to read it. We always try to somehow share that we are happy that we are partners with you, and you have been helping us on many fronts. I just wanted to make sure that everybody remembers that we are partners in providing the services and education to this great county. So with that, I wanted to show the picture of, everything we do is about this moment, and we had the pleasure of looking people in their eyes and see those smiles, shaking their hand as they went off and being great citizens and helping. You hear children screaming, that's my mom. You see husbands screaming, that's my wife, and all that stuff. And Zeb was there too, to hear it. It was a beautiful moment. That's the best moment of life of any educator. So, and we thank you for it. You should be proud of being a part of this, because we see you as partners in doing whatever we do. With that, that concludes my quick presentation. Any questions for me?
Questions, anybody? So, just clarification, the $1.5 million that we gave you last year that it's included in your report.
For the
But you're
the
still,
Liberty
you're still
property?
showing the full 25 million for the Liberty site.
No. That was
That's
for the
just the
land.
land, okay.
That was just exactly, the
So
exact
the
price was
25 it's not related to the.
correct.
Any questions? Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you again.
Thank all of you for your participation tonight, and Will, Zeb for the presentation. We have posted the schedule, and we will keep that same schedule. Some of them might go a little bit longer, the meetings, but the announcer, the posted times or days for our meetings will continue. So we'll get through the process as is indicated and wrap it up sometime around the middle of the month. So, thank you again. You got anything? All right. Any commissioners have any comments? Thank all of you again. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Have a second? Those in favor say aye, and we are adjourned. Thank you very much.